Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Keith Hatfield, Man Alive. And this is part 2 of my Mega Horror t-shirt collection. And we'll start out with, again, one of my favorites, The Creature from the Black Lagoon. And this one was designed, the poster design, and from the original poster artwork, and turned into a t-shirt by a guy that does t-shirts at the Redford Theater in Redford, Michigan. Just a great historical theater, and it's kind of cool to go there and watch old horror flicks or just classic movies in general. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, many others. But this one here, as I stated in the previous video, a creature has just always been one of my favorites. And Riku Browning, who played the creature in all the underwater scenes, is the last living Universal monster. And if you get a chance to go to Pennsylvania next June, he's going to be signing at Monster Bash, a company called Creepy Classics puts on. And hopefully I'm going to be there to meet the man. It's just still one of the best movies, and I've actually got to see it in its original 3D, and it's really, really neat. Really great movie if you've never seen it. Super 3D vision. Another one that the Redford Theater put together, the movie Monsters. Got Drac there, played by Bela Lugosi. The creature, played by either Riku Browning or Ben Chapman, that played him on land. The bride, Elsa Lanchester. Hopefully I said that right. Frankenstein, Boris Karloff. The Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr. And the Mummy, also played by, this particular version, played by Boris Karloff. But that guy that designs these t-shirts, he does such a great job. Really nice colors. Okay, here's a couple of new ones actually. Haven't even worn these yet. My wife Annie, she went down to a Avon convention in New Orleans at beginning of August and surprised me with these when she came back. This one says New Orleans on the front, but on the back you have a list of all the haunted houses down in that area. The Marie Laveau house, La Lorraine house, Hotel Villa Convento, Gardette Lepret house, the Degas house, Lafitte's blacksmith shop, the old Absinthe house, the Lenoir mansion. Hopefully I'm pronouncing these right. I know they got French names, some of them. And the 1891 Castle Inn. Pretty neat. And it looks like it might glow in the dark. Not sure, I'm gonna have to test it out. Yeah, pretty neat shirt. And she also brought me this one, which this one is just too cool. So this one says, you got the skeletal figure there, and it says, since 1718, New Orleans Free Spirits. Now check out this side. Free Spirits. Is that not cool? Get a close up. Spectral figures. The specter in the middle wearing red lipstick. Down here it says St. Louis Cemetery, #1 city of the City of the Dead. There we go. St. Louis Cemetery, #1, City of the Dead. I guess it's either St. Louis or San Luis, however they want to pronounce it. I just know when I watch hockey, it's not the San Luis Blues, it's St. Louis Blues. But that is just a great illustration on there. Great colors too. Okay, if this one at first look doesn't look like a horror shirt to you, look again. This one is based on The Thing by the legendary and one of the greatest horror directors and directors in general, John Carpenter. And this is from The Thing. And this is, again, was made up by the guy that does the Redford Theater. But Outpost 31, Last Stop Bar. And you can see on there the established 1982, which was when The Thing came out. And there's everyone's favorite husky dog that, if you've seen the movie, has a special surprise for everybody. And it says underneath it there, "Look closely at your neighbors. Don't trust anybody. Antarctica." I wear this shirt a lot though. Cool shirt. And once again, it's kind of neat to find shirts that aren't all black and white. They've got some color to them and are different colors and that. But and speaking of the great John Carpenter, if anyone's ever seen They Live with Roddy Piper, they know what this one's all about. Obey. What a creepy face. Yeah, if you've never seen it, you gotta check it out. Alright, there's the Jurassic Park logo. Again, as I stated in the first video, a lot of people might not think Jurassic Park or the sequels or Jurassic World and that are horror films. I beg to differ. I say if you got giant monstrous lizards eating people and causing all kinds of havoc and mayhem and destroying things, and you have to run for your screaming life, then it's a horror film, my friends. Jurassic Park. And the greatest giant monstrous lizard of all time is represented here in the Japanese poster art for Godzilla vs. Gigan. And as you can see, try to get some of these cat hairs off there. You got Ghidra, also known as Monster Zero, in the background. Gigan up right there with the razor belly. And the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla. And in the background there, which in some movies was his little buddy, and other movies it was almost sort of like there was a romantic interest, was Agurus. So I was taking it for granted Agurus is a girl, because I always thought that was the son of Godzilla's mother. Could be wrong. If you know the difference, please let me know. Just can't beat Godzilla. And hopefully you all went out to see King of the Monsters, because that was a great flick. And there's also going to be Godzilla vs. King Kong coming out here within the next couple of years, and I'm looking forward to that one. Okay, so here we have another X-Files shirt. And again, I could have put the X-Files shirts in my earlier sci-fi collection, but to me, the X-Files has always been spooky and creepy and better suited in the horror element than the, even though it's got plenty of science fiction and deals with aliens and all kinds of other stuff. I think that it's better represented in horror. So I have plenty of X-Files shirts, but this one's kind of cool because you have the mysterious silhouetted figure, the shadow on the road. Illustration just as mysterious as the TV show itself. And you have the X-Files logo. Alright, another one of my favorites, the Wolfman, played by the late great Lon Chaney Jr. And probably can't see it too well. This one I've had, again, for decades. Some of these shirts I've had for years and years. But in the background, the words that the gypsy spoke: even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. Colors on it are still great. Hasn't lost too much of its color at all. Really well-made shirt. Alright. And there we have the Mummy, this incarnation, played by, again, the late great Boris Karloff. Boris Karloff, who brought so many great horrific characters to screen. I mean, these shirts were really well made, because I've had these shirts, I bet you 25 years at least, maybe 30. But they're still, it's thick material, and the colors on them are still pretty outstanding for their age. You can see all the wrinkles in the mummy's skin. Alright. There he is, my friends. One of the best movie monsters of all time. Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I had always heard, which turned out later to be false, but I had always heard that the reason why Riku Browning only played the creature in the water was in reality he was shorter than the leading lady, played by Jane Addams, but that's not true. That's not true at all. So that's an urban legend, because Riku Browning was 6'1", but Ben Chapman, who played the monster on land, was 6'5". But Riku Browning was a Marine coordinator. He was a stuntman and an actor. And he was also one of the co-creators of Flipper. If any of you remember that show. The Adventures of the Dolphin. But he did plenty of stunt work and stunt coordination for like the James Bond movie Thunderball, and he was involved in a lot of pictures. But he played the creature underwater in all three movies: Creature from the Black Lagoon, Revenge of the Creature, and The Creature Walks Among Us. Alright, moving on. Frankenstein. The original 1931, also played by Boris Karloff. Very haunting. Great. Alright, that shirt there is another one that came from the subscription service, which I believe is defunct. Horror Block. But that was a logo I reminiscent of Daryl Dixon on The Walking Dead. Got the arrow through the skull, the winged skull. Alright. Another X-Files shirt. That one's faded quite a bit, but you can still see David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson. Mulder and Scully. And another t-shirt celebrating the life and the greatness of Sir Graves Ghastly, who was a horror host in my neck of the woods, Metro Detroit. And he used to come on every Saturday afternoon when I was a kid for years and years. And I said in the first video, he looked a lot, when I look at him now, he looked a lot like Festus Hagen from Gunsmoke if he was turned into a vampire. I dig Graves. Sir Graves Ghastly. Alright. Now this t-shirt here is super cool in two different ways. It's super cool because of its illustration there, where you have all the zombies in front of the haunted house, walking, about to unleash a reign of terror. But when nightfall comes, which you probably are not going to be able to see it, but ooh. Sorry about that. But when nightfall comes, it glows in the dark, and the zombies go away, and they're replaced by ghosts floating around in the graveyard, which you're probably not going to be able to see. Maybe, but just barely. I don't know if I can turn it any way where you can see it or not. You might be able to see slight outlines of the ghosts. But, I mean, seriously, look at these zombies. That is some pretty creepy artwork right there. Little monster kid on the side there. Great shirt. Alright, let me try to get these straightened back up. So in the first video, you saw a shirt from 28 Days Later. This one is from the sequel. "28 Weeks Later." You got the soldier with the gas masks on. And it says, "Warning. Maintain the quarantine. Deadly force will be used to protect this area." And if anybody saw 28 Weeks Later, you know that it didn't work. And a lot of people argue that that's not a true zombie movie, but my friends, it's a zombie movie. Alright, moving on. Got another skull. Because what's more frightening than the face of death, huh? Huh? Nice grinning skull. And because, again, you can't have too many X-Files shirts, Deny everything. Trust no one. The truth is out there. The truth is out there. The X-Files. Yeah, nothing on the back. Okay, another shirt from Horror Block, and this one was a tribute to the movies of Wes Craven. So on the top right there you see Ghostface from the Scream movies. I can't remember his name, but the cannibal from Hills Have Eyes. Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. The antagonist from Shocker. I thought this fell at first, I thought that was from Fright Night, but no, it's from People Under the Stairs, because Wes Craven did not do Fright Night. And another creep from Last House on the Left. And the coffin in the middle is to represent Serpent in the Rainbow. When Bill Pullman is buried alive. Kind of nice to have a red shirt with horror stuff on it, though. Alright, we got another horror host. And this fella, I didn't really... Again, I grew up in the Metro Detroit area. And this guy was down in the Dayton, Ohio area. So I kind of discovered him late and through the internet. But it was Dr. Creep. I guess he had been around for years and years, and he always had this maniacal laugh. Hoo ha 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 ha! Hoo ha 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 ha! And he looked like a creep. But many, many people loved him. And this shirt came because they were doing a benefit, because he had had a lot of health problems before he unfortunately passed, and they were raising money to help pay off some of his medical bills. Chaos in the Park 2009 benefit concert for the legendary Dr. Creep. And again, please let me reiterate, support your local horror hosts, or support your horror hosts in general, because it's a lost art that they're trying to keep alive, but it's not a forgotten art. Alright. And this is just a generic but very cool werewolf shirt. You got the blood moon and 3 howling werewolves. What's better than that? Alright, this next one is going to be from one of the creepiest and best made-for-TV horror movies of all time, and just a creepy and great horror movie in general, and that is Salem's Lot. And this is one of the t-shirts that my wife and I share, because she wants to wear it and I want to wear it, so great colors on there. But if you have never seen it, please, by all means, if you love horror movies, you have to watch the original Salem's Lot, starring David Soul. And there's the creepy Marsden house in the background. And that's Barlow, King Vampire. Just great colors though. Alright, so this one's kind of goofy, but it's a classic. And it is getting close to Halloween. We're just a little bit more than a month away. But of course, it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. This is an all-time classic. Charles Schulz Peanuts Gang. Alright. And of course another great movie that's enjoyable anytime, but especially around Halloween. And that's Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, which in Tim Burton's own admitted words was a love letter to the old Hammer horror movies, which are some of my absolute favorites. Heads will roll. And I actually have a model kit of this, of the Headless Horseman under the crooked tree, and it gives you different options. You have the pumpkin to carry in his hand, but you also have a couple of other heads, and one of the heads that you can choose for him to be carrying is none other than Tim Burton's head itself. We have, every year, my wife and I, we try to go to the Halloween event that they have at Greenfield Village in Dearborn, Michigan. And one of the best things that they do for the Halloween event is they have the Headless Horseman chasing around Ichabod Crane out there in a field of corn stalks, or as my dad always called them, fodder shocks. And usually they get either a woman or somebody smaller than the Headless Horseman to ride around as Ichabod Crane. And the Headless Horseman himself is pretty huge, and he's riding a huge horse, a big black horse. And it's just great. And they tell the story of the legend of Sleepy Hollow as all this is going on. So if you ever get a chance, check it out, Greenfield Village at Halloween time. And let's see, last but not least, since it is coming up on Halloween, we have an actual Halloween shirt, All Hallows Eve. The sinister pumpkin surrounded by crows. Illuminated and somewhat evil looking jack-o'-lanterns. So let me just go ahead and say Happy Halloween to you in advance. Thank you so much for joining me. If you came into this video first, please check out part 1. Thank you for watching so much. Check out some of my other videos. I've got some movie reviews. Have a tour through a Star Trek exhibition if you like science fiction and such. Hopefully before too long we'll have another pretty great adventure I have to film for you. And check out my Star Wars t-shirt collection, my Star Trek collection, and coming soon, my superhero t-shirt collection. But thank you so much for joining me. And if you like what you see, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe for further future content. And I just want you to know that I appreciate you. Alright, thanks again. Have a great day. And keep watching scary movies. Bye.